Hey everyone, BC Richfield here from the Bird Nest, where we teach you how to trade. And today we are going to look at market reversals. I'm going to be focusing more on the kind of medium time frames, all right, but with price being fractal, this can apply in the same way to higher time frames or even lower time frames than this, right? So without further ado, let's jump into the charts. Just to keep it recent, I've got the current Bitcoin chart here. We can see price up here on the current date, which at the moment is just on the 8th of June. So the reason I've got this chart for you guys is because we don't want to cherry pick the bits that we show you, right? We want to make it current because there's no point going back to a chart, finding the exact moment when things fit your theory, because otherwise we're not really learning, all right? So this is what I'm talking about today. If we're talking about trend reversal, what we're looking for is when a trend is down, we're looking for when it changes and starts to go up. When a trend is up, we're looking when it changes and starts to go down. So a lot of people front run these, or a lot of people jump in and then get caught on the wrong side of them. So I'm going to show you what I do, or what I look for. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these areas of interest. All right, so I'm going to start by marking this here. I'm going to mark this up here. I'm going to mark this down here, which ends up being quite a tricky spot. So we want to cover that. We don't want to leave anything out, all right? And then along here, we're fairly neutral till we get to this point. And then without going into it too much or keeping you guys for too long, I then want to focus on this one here, all right? So even on this time frame, we can see here on the hourly chart, what is it that we're looking for to confirm a trend reversal? So we're looking for market structure breaks. Now, if we're looking for a market structure break, what we're looking for is if we're in an uptrend and we're setting higher highs and higher lows, yeah, we're looking for that point when price comes up, all right, sets that lower high, that lower low, and then trends the downside, okay? So in that respect, what we can see here, we can see price coming up, sets the higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, low, lower high, right? And it's at that point that we're getting interested, okay? So what we're going to do is we mark the low, and what we're interested here is when it breaks below that low, okay? And there's 2 points that we can action this. So on the break of the low or on the retest, which we'll see when we drop this to the lower time frames. So even if we're focusing here on 1 hour, all right, then a good thing that you can do is if we take our trend line tool. Now, for me personally, and there's different ways to run this, but I like to anchor it to the wick, okay, of the relevant high. And then I don't mind it penetrating wicks on the other candles, okay, but in this initial section here, the key areas, I don't want to see it penetrate the bodies. Otherwise, we can just make it fit whatever line that we like. So when you're doing this, a really simple way is to draw your trend line. And what we can see here is when price breaks above this, yeah, what do we have? We have 2 things here. Price coming up and setting this higher. We can see higher low, yeah? So while we've set this higher high over here, or even this one here, but we'll focus on this one because it's the relevant high. If we go to this, and we just take our trend line and draw it across, then we can see that what we've got here is here's the high, here's the low. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Here's high, here's our higher low, all right? So what we're looking for, as long as we maintain those higher lows, we're looking for a break of this higher high, which we get here. And what we can see, we zoom in a little bit, is we have this lovely bullish candle formation here. 1, 2, 3 bullish candles leading us up, closing above this high. Yes, we get the pullback, which is pullback to grab some liquidity. Now, you could, on this pullback, enter on this bullish engulfing candle, or you could wait for price to break back above again. All right, if you wanted to be super safe, you could wait for the retest. Okay, it doesn't touch exactly, but pretty close. What's our confirmation? It's this bullish engulfing candle to the upside. All right, so let's go through a couple more examples. So we've got this here. This is the reversal from the downtrend to the uptrend. Now, what we've got here, all right, is price coming up with a nice uptrend. And we can see here, higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Lower high, yeah, lower low. When this sets the lower high, again, what we can do is we can mark the bottom of this candle here. And with a close below, as we can see with this powerful bearish candle, we can enter here and trade this to the downside. Okay, so I'm just going to give you guys one more example because this is really, really important. We've got to remember when we're trading, look, there's no magic here, right? There's no guarantees. We're just purely playing probabilities, okay? So if we look here, we can see that we have this big drop off, right? Here we set the low. We kind of set this high here because you see this big pullback, yeah? Then we set the higher high. So you can mark the high. So what stops us entering here? Well, simply, you come up, set the high, set the higher low. Now we've set the higher high. Price has come back down here, but it hasn't traded back above. Okay, so our trigger here would be for it to be trading back above, but it hasn't. It's traded to the downside. Now, if you'd consider this wick down here as the low, yeah, then we would have seen price come up to here. There's our high. There's our higher low. And if this is our higher high, then what we'd be looking for here is a break above this high, not this one. And we break and hold above this high, we go up, we can see price reverses and comes to the downside. Now, it's not to say that this can't happen, but if we're being honest or we're sticking to a particular time frame in terms of our execution, in terms of our triggers, like this one is with the 1 hour, then what we're saying to ourselves, we want to clear an obvious high, yeah? We can see here, we can see the movements, yeah? The low to the high, to the low, to the high. All right, this long wick here, it makes it difficult. If you did get in there, yeah, we take our long position, break above this high, we can see here that we wouldn't have reached 1R, but to 0.74 before we got stopped out, all right? But that's not a problem. As traders, we have to accept the fact we are going to take losses. All of the best traders, all traders take losses. The key with any strategy is that you need to stick to the parameters of the strategy, yeah? And that over time, you win more than you lose. Or your risk to return, is a lot higher, so you don't need to win more than you lose, but the percentages work out over time. As we can see here, we had a lovely win here, yeah? We entered here on this break and traded it all the way to the upside. As we've come back down into this one, fine, we've either not traded it here because it was clear and obvious and trades down, or we got in a bit early and we reversed, fine. So as long as we're trading the same strategy, the same opportunities, let's move on to the last one. And what we can see over here is price comes up, doesn't quite close above this high. So here's our downtrend. Here's the low. There's the high. There's the higher low. This doesn't set a higher high. This low is roughly equal. This sets up. Now this sets the higher high. All right. So what we can say to ourselves is, okay, let's mark this high. And again, we're following the same parameters. We're saying when price comes up and closes above here, and what we can see here is we have a beautiful inside bar candle. So this is the mother bar, this long bar here. The inside bar is next to it, and we're saying to ourselves, 1, 2 bullish candles, here's our entry, or the close above on this candle, and we trade it to the upside. Okay, so I see a lot of traders get caught out when it comes down to market structure. Okay, so always make sure that when you're trading it, when you're using indicators, whatever it is that you're using, paying attention to price action. Okay, because price action and market structure are key defining factors in breakout trading. Okay, so if you're going to plan to be a breakout trader, make sure you understand your levels and you're not getting trapped to the wrong side. Okay, look, I hope this has been really helpful. Do come along to the Bird Nest, hit me up in the chat. I'd be more than happy to go through it in some more detail. There's also a link down in the description below where you can sign up for a 7-day free trial. Do come along, pop me a message. Be more than happy to go through this and watch the YouTube content. Come along and join us. Learn how to trade, or if you're already an experienced trader, come along, work with the TA team, sharpen up what you do, and take your skills to the next level. Thanks very much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you around Nest.